Howdy, and welcome back to the Sith Dominion podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dana Martin, and with me tonight is me. There's a rumor that Andrew and Andre Whaley might join. Let's hope he does, or this will be the shortest offensive. No, it will be the shortest show. No, wait. You know what tonight is? Why Vader means daddy. We talked about Vater and Vader meaning daddy on the previous episode, and I thought it befitting that we do this. And so it happens, no one else is really able to join. Vader's my guy. Can I carry a show for at least an hour on Darth Vader? Oh, you bet your butt I can. So I even wrote another monologue for this, and I haven't done a monologue in a little while because I don't think it was enjoyed by most. However, I enjoyed doing it, so I'm going to do one again. I've done one on I forget what the first one was, but the second one I did was on Darth Maul. I'm going to do one tonight on Vader, and my whiskey glass from my cousin for Christmas. You can see Vader there. Don't want to drip on the glass. And little Vader. How about that? How about Spain today? Spain beating France 2-0. Going to the final. We'll see if Messi and the Argentinians can meet them. They play Thursday? I don't know. They play in a day or two. Anyhow, we're not here to talk about football. We're here to talk about Star Wars. Thought I'd go through a couple of things before we jump into Darth Vader. First of which, let me share my screen. We had some news come out over the last week. Let's see. What am I sharing? So here we go. Yeah. So Mando and Grogu are coming soon. Oh, I just shared the wrong thing. Oops. Oh, for Pete's sake. Yeah, that's it. This one. Mando and Grogu coming to digital and download, and that's a pretty cool case. I'm not gonna lie. Disney looks like they're stepping up their game with this. I love the steel case versions of those movies too at times. It's freaking awesome. So here we go. It'll start streaming on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Fandango on July 21st, and 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray on August 25th. I don't remember if it said when it was coming to Disney Plus. I think this is only, only the digital and Blu-ray. So there is that. Nice. I won't be purchasing it. I don't think that's a secret, and I won't pay to stream it until it comes to Disney Plus. And of course, I already pay that service. So that's where we're at. Along the same lines here of Mando and Grogu, we have. Whoa, where is it? There we go. Some heroes just click. So there's going to be Lego Star Wars Mandalorian special releasing on September 2nd. September 2nd. So we got Lego Star Wars Mandalorian September 2nd. We got Mandalorian and Grogu Steelbook, Blu-ray, DVDs, all the stuff and things, digital release July 21st and then August something. And then, yeah, So with that, I think I'm gonna jump right into another piece of news here. There is, if we go to Lego. So for 2027, bunch of new cool things. You know what? I'm here for this, man. Um, I like the man Chinese theater. That's pretty cool. I don't think I'd personally own it. The Star Wars poster, oh, 100%. That would be awesome to have hanging in my office. The Stormtrooper helmet, that is not just Stormtrooper, but the whatever concept art. There it is. And then this includes a Darth Vader mini fig and an episode 2 poster, the UCS tie advanced. That is a must for the collection. So for those of you wanting to know what I would like for Christmas, the next year, start saving now because it will be expensive. But Vader's tie advanced, UCS tie advanced. That's my jam. I'm here for it. Cool. What else? There is more news. There was one more thing I wanted to share. Yeah, and I really wish that Andrew was here for this. Oh, great. Close that ad. This filmmaker obsessed with IMAX preserved a piece of Star Wars history, one frame at a time. So, some rare IMAX trailer footage from Attack of the Clones. He came across, and he went through and manually, frame by frame, or cell by cell on the 70 millimeter. There it is. Got it. That's incredible. So they're going to, I read the article, so you don't have to. They are putting this in the museum so that everyone can experience it, and they'll play that in the theater in the museum. Sorry, I said the theater in the museum. So everyone can see it. Pretty cool. Like I said, I wish that we had Andrew on the show so that he could comment, because that would totally be something he'd want to talk about. And yeah, look at that. There's nobody here. And so 11 minutes. We went through news in 11 minutes. I don't know if I should be excited about that or sad. I guess that answers that question. Why not jump right into it? All right. Let me pull up my notes, because I can't just rely on people to help. But so why Vader and why this approach? Because there are villains and then there are icons in film, right? And then there's Darth Vader. The man shows up, he breathes in and exhales, and instantly everyone knows who runs the room. So tonight I'm gonna try to do kind of a best of episode of Vader, not like quotes or whatnot, but like moments that kind of prove Vader means daddy for many reasons. And I'll just say it. Vader is daddy for many reasons. And before anybody gets a little weird, I want to be clear. We're not just talking like meme culture, right? And we're not just talking about armor and voice and cape and the breathing or the way he walks into the room and makes everybody suddenly remember that they have unfinished business elsewhere. We're talking about presence, authority, talking about tragedy, and the fact that Vader is still the standard by which almost every other Star Wars villain is measured. And honestly, that's kind of the point, right? It's not Vader's not daddy because he's nice, right? And he's not daddy because he's emotionally available. And he's not daddy because he's giving out life advice and, pats on the back with healthy affirmation. I don't want to rewrite him. He is a walking trauma response with a breathing apparatus and a government job. But that is exactly why, for me, that it hits so hard with Vader, because he represents power with pain underneath. He's not just a villain. He's the consequence of every bad choice, every ignored warning, every fear that no one checked up on, every institution that failed him, every mentor who missed the moment, and every wound that turned into his armor. And that's why, for me, Vader lasts. When Vader first steps through the smoke in A New Hope, we do not know this being's story yet. We don't know Anakin. That term yet. We don't know about Mustafar, and we don't know about the dead children, the broken friendships, the grief, the manipulation, betrayal, the cost. All we know is the room belongs to him. He enters after the violence has already happened. Rebels are already down. The corridors filled with the stench of ozone and smoke. Bodies are on the floor. And then he appears. No speech, no explanation, just two sounds: a breath in and a breath out. That was the introduction to the legend. And modern villains, to me, and there's always the exception, but modern villains often feel like they're trying to convince us of how dangerous they are. There was none of that with Vader. He never has to do that. He does not audition for fear. Fear recognizes him. Chuck Norris passed away a few months ago, quite a few months ago now. And death didn't come from Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris agreed to go with death, right? That's Vader. One of the reasons that Vader still works today, for me, is that Vader understands the importance of restraint. Or maybe the better way to say this is that filmmakers understood how important it was that Vader show restraint. The best Vader scenes to me are not always the loudest. Sometimes they're quiet. As I've mentioned on the show, sometimes it's him standing still on Endor, holding his son's lightsaber. Sometimes he's saying very little. Sometimes he's just watching. And that's enough. And that's why Cloud City, dinner scene, that scene in Empire is perfect. Han opens the door. Vader's already there. He's already seated. He's already in control. Han fires, of course. There is no Han shot first, right? Han is a scoundrel. He's threatened. He's going to shoot. So Han does one of the most Han Solo things Han Solo could do. And Vader rises, blocks the shot like he's swatting away a mosquito. He doesn't jump. He doesn't flinch. He's not even impressed that this is the guy that daughter brought to dinner. I know he doesn't know yet. But that scene is so disrespectful, like in the best way. Vader does not walk into the trap, right? He is the trap. And that's what separates him from so many other villains. He doesn't need to chase the story. The story is like a black hole. He's like a black hole within the story as it bends around him. If Vader were only powerful, though, he would not be this important, because power alone, we all see it in video games, right? The guy's OP. That gets boring. And we've seen plenty of powerful villains. We've seen characters throw ships. We've seen them destroy planets, conquer armies, command empires, and of course give long diatribes or monologues or speeches about destiny. And Vader's different because every bit of his power feels like it actually costs him something. The suit's not just armor. We know this, right? It's a prison. The breathing is not just sound design. It's a reminder that every single step he takes tells us something has been lost. Every mechanical breath tells us that this man survived something he should not have survived. And what came out on the other side was not him and not whole. And I don't mean a lack of a couple of legs and an arm. But that's why Vader is terrifying and tragic at the same time, because underneath all that black armor, underneath all that pain, is Anakin. And Anakin Skywalker is not some random evil man who woke up one day and said, you know what? Gee, you know what sounds fun? Tyranny. No. Anakin was gifted. He was passionate, brave. He loved deeply, was compassionate. He wanted to protect people. He wanted to matter. He wanted to stop losing all the people he cared about. And that's what makes this fall so painful. That Vader is what happens when love turns to control, or when fear gets justified. He's what happens when pain is never healed and is weaponized. That's why he's more than a villain. He's a warning. And this is where the daddy thing kind of becomes a little interesting from my perspective. Because whether people are joking or not, what they're really responding to is that Vader is the ultimate dark figure in Star Wars. He's authority, he's judgment, he's fear, he's legacy. He's the father you cannot outrun because he's tied to your destiny. Luke's entire world changes when Vader says, "No, I am your father." That line doesn't just reveal the plot twist, it destroys Luke's understanding of who he is. I mean, Luke thought he was fighting evil out there somewhere. And then he learns that that evil is connected just connected, attached to him. It's his bloodline, it's his family's story. It's a part of the legacy that he now has to confront. And that's why Empire specifically hits so hard. In Empire Strikes Back, Vader doesn't just beat Luke in the duel, he breaks the myth Luke was living inside of himself. That is psychological domination. And that's why Vader is still the measuring stick. He doesn't just threaten your life, he threatens your identity. When Vader tells Luke the truth, he's not saying, I'm stronger than you. What he's saying is, you don't even know who you are. And that is brutal. And that is why Vader still matters. Because now, years later, we get more of Anakin's story. Vader and what he is becomes even heavier. Because now when we watch him, we're not just watching a monster. We're watching the aftermath of tragedy. We know the little boy from Tatooine, the Jedi who just wanted to be trusted, and we know that husband terrified of losing his wife, and the student who wanted that father figure. And we know the warrior who was praised for his power, but rarely taught how to carry his pain. So when Vader appears, there's always a ghost in the room. Anakin is there, buried, twisted, angry, denied, but he is still there. And for me, that is what makes that scene with Ahsoka in Rebels so powerful. When the mask cracks and Ahsoka, hears Anakin's voice, that scene does what great Star Wars does. We just talked about this the other day on the show. It collapses all the eras into one emotional moment. Ahsoka, in that moment, is not just fighting Vader. She's facing what became of her master. And Vader's not just fighting Ahsoka. He's rejecting one of the last living reminders that Anakin Skywalker even existed. For me, that scene is heartbreaking because Ahsoka offers something almost nobody else can offer him: recognition. Ahsoka sees him, not just Vader, not just the monster. She sees Anakin. She says, I won't leave you, not this time. But he still refuses to come back, and that is what makes that scene devastating. And that's why Vader is daddy for a reason. Not because the father wound in Star Wars runs straight through him. He is a father. He's a fallen son. He's a failed husband. He's a broken student. He's corrupted chosen one, all at once. And that is a lot of weight for one character to carry, but he carries it. And then we get to Rogue One. Now let's talk about that hallway scene, because that scene is one of the best examples of Vader as pure horror. People called it fan service. Fine, it's fan service. But is it fan service that understands the service? It is fan service that understands the service. That scene works because it shows what Vader is to ordinary people. Not Jedi, heroes, just soldiers. Just people trapped in a hallway with a freaking nightmare. The lights go out. You hear the breathe in. You hear the breathe out. The red blade ignites, and suddenly this is not an action scene anymore. It's a disaster movie. It's a horror film. Vader's not fighting those people. He is happening to them. That's the difference. He moves through them with such terrifying calm. No panic, no wasted motion, no emotional spike, just forward inevitability. That's why that scene lands so hard, because for a few minutes, the audience remembered what the galaxy feels like when Vader shows up. Not excitement, dread. And then the Obi-Wan Kenobi series gave us another layer. The broken mass scene between Obi-Wan and Vader is one of the most important Vader moments we have seen in modern Star Wars. I know you would disagree, Cameron. Because Vader says something brutal here in this scene. He tells Obi-Wan that Obi-Wan, I say this right. He tells Obi-Wan that Obi-Wan did not kill Anakin Skywalker. He says he did. Now, part of that is a cruelty. He wants to hurt Obi-Wan, obviously, right? He wants to not just like, yeah, was once Anakin, but now he wants to twist the knife. But part of it's also truth. Vader is claiming his fault. He's saying this is not just something that happened to me. This is something I chose. That matters. It matters because as much as we can talk about the Jedi failing him, which we do on this show all the time, Palpatine manipulating him, his trauma shaping him, his fear consuming him, ultimately, Vader is still responsible. That is the line Star Wars cannot lose. Pain explains him. It doesn't excuse him. That's why he remains such a strong character. He's tragic, yes, but he's not absolved. He's sympathetic, but he's not innocent. He is broken, but he is still accountable. That balance is hard to write. Kudos, writers. And Vader lives in that tension. He lives in that tension better than almost any villain, anyone I can recall. And then there's Return of the Jedi. So this is where kind of the daddy thing kind of stops being fun and jokey. And becomes kind of the emotional center of the saga. Because Luke does what almost no one else could. Well, no one else could do. He refused to see Vader by only Vader. He believes there's still good in him. And the entire ending, and we've gone through this ad nauseum on the show, but the entire ending depends on whether the father can still choose the son over a master. That's the final test. Choice. Not strength, not saber fighting, not force power. Choice. Palpatine thinks he understands Vader wholly. He thinks he owns Vader. He thinks Vader is so broken, too guilty, too dependent. He's too trapped. He's my prisoner. And to be fair, I mean, Papa Palps had every right to believe that. He built Vader. He fed the fear. He created dependency. He gave Anakin the language of power when Anakin was drowning in loss. And so, yeah, Anakin gains, becomes Vader from Palpatine. But Luke gives Vader something that Palpatine never could. A reason to stop obeying. That's the moment that Anakin returns, right? Not because he gives this speech or wins this duel, right? Not because the music, thank you, John Williams, but not because the music tells us everything's okay now. He returns because he chooses to save his son. And that's why Vader's redemption works when so many other villains just don't quite get there. The redemption works, but it's not erasing the lifetime of evil. It's just one final choice that proves that the man who was there was not completely gone. So Vader, he's the blueprint, man. Not just because he's cool and he looks badass and he has the presence and the armor and blah, 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 but because he's complete. He has it all. The presence, the fear, the tragedy, consequence, the mythos around it. He has fall. He has return. He is the shadow that lurks over the entire franchise, whether they want to admit it or not. Every dark side character after him is either reacting to him, compared to him, inspired by him, or trapped under his legacy. Kylo Ren ultimately worships the mask. Maul represents rage and survival, but even Maul does not carry the same galaxy-wide mythic weight. This is for you, bud. Thrawn is brilliant, but he does not haunt the soul of the saga the way that Vader does. Sidious is evil. Sidious is dangerous. From a Sith architect perspective, super successful. But he's not more tragic. Vader's like an emotional receipt. He's what the galaxy paid for by ignoring fear, corruption, arrogance, pain. He is the receipt for the galaxy ignoring, for the Jedi ignoring, for the Jedi's complacency. He is the FAO. It's late, folks. What was I saying? Oh, the galaxy paid for ignoring fear, corruption, etc. But that really is why he owns the room. It's why he owns the franchise. He always will. And it's kind of fitting, I think, that I'm here by myself tonight, because I don't know that they feel as strongly about this as I do. I just said this, that Vader owns the franchise. He is the franchise. I know you're going to say Luke Skywalker, but you don't have Luke without Vader. His best moments still hit, and all of this stuff is why Vader is daddy for a reason. Not just because not because he should be admired without question and redemption, but no, he is the dark father of Star Wars. He's the warning, he's the wound, he's the authority, he's the tragedy, he's the monster that came from a man. And every time that breathing begins, we remember something important, that the dark side does not always arrive screaming. Sometimes it walks slowly through the smoke and everyone else gets quiet. That is the opener for our show tonight. Whew, I can't believe that. I swear I read it a lot faster. I think a lot of times whenever I go through it, I do this with my coaching and speaking gig too. I'll write it and then read through it, edit it, read through it, and then I have to stop reading through it because I'm just skimming, and then you get lost when you read it on air. It's fun. So what I thought would be fun would be to, after the tiresome monologue, that we would look at different things about Vader. And I was hoping to have some people join, and they would. Is someone trying to? No, there's no chat. They would bring these, and we'd argue as well on what we agreed or disagreed on. But the first kind of thing, what is not top fives or whatever for Darth Vader, but for Darth Vader, what is the best Darth Vader entrance? And it can be any entrance. And the thought is probably we would end up having Vader on with Ezra, right? Vader on the TIE fighter coming in. I talked about in the monologue the A New Hope entry. To me, as a kid in '77, yeah, that was scary as crap, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like Vader, as much as I adored Vader, like I loved that villain, he scared the crap out of me. I was only 2 when the movie came out. It was a little later whenever I first started watching those movies with my father. But for me, and I talked about it earlier, it's the smoke, right? Like everything happens. The violence occurs in the hallway, and this dude comes in afterwards, and he's more scary than the stormtroopers breaking through shooting, right? And we'd never seen stormtroopers. We'd never seen anything like that. Man, so his first, if we can, like the lessons of Vader. I do have this book. My wife, it's gotten this for me, Be More Vader. That's right. It reminds me a lot of one of my other books that I have. This one, I don't have the IP licensing, so I don't get to put pictures of, home skillet there of Hux or whatever. Anyhow. So yeah, lessons with Vader, the first one, presence, right? Bodies on the floor, smoke, dead quiet. All you hear is this, because what's the name of the ship? Tantive 4 was under attack. Yeah. He doesn't say anything either when he first comes on, right? Like he just and everyone just gets him. Everyone already knows what his intentions are. Freaking Vader. One second. Let's try this again. So, number 2. So, what was number 1? Kind of best entrance, right? I think that's the best entrance. I'd say second best would be Ezra. And third best, even though I said I wasn't going to list them, third best entrance, Rogue One. There. That I'm going to also talk about here for number 2, which is best display of power. Same hallway scene that I think's top 2. But when looking at it from a perspective of power, it's there's no speaking, no wasted movement. I talked about that earlier. It shows there's this mythos around him that they freaked the frack out, right? As soon as that saber lit, it was over. It's not it's not a fight scene. It's like a disaster event. It's a natural disaster. Do you here's a no one's watching at the moment, but drop it in the comments, right? Do you think the Rogue One hallway scene was too much fan service? Leave a comment below and we'll circle back to that because I talked about fan service earlier. I don't think so, but I don't want to sway you. I think it was just the right balance. It gave us a little more of Vader than we had seen and gave us, I don't know. I don't know how to articulate that, but yes, no, not too much fan service. I think it was perfect. What about psychological moment? This is tough for me because, of course, the dinner scene I think is one of the most incredible psychological moments of a villain in any movie, quite frankly. In Empire, the dinner scene in Empire. One, as I stated earlier, it shows Han being Han, right? Like just quick draw and shooting. Had Vader not been Vader, Han was dead eye would have killed him. I mean, it was right there. And of course, Vader's blocking it. That's a close second. I think psychologically, that really threw the crew, Leia, everybody. Yeah. So I think though number 1 has to be the I am your father. And I say that because it's not that I just took your hand and your saber, so now you're defenseless. He digs the knife into the wound that he's been beaten by saying, I'm your father. Like now, daddy just whooped you, and you're not who you think you are. Now, Luke sitting there, no, I mean, I could only imagine what sort of mental distress he's already under because he's supposed to be this new Jedi guy and he's just failed. And now he's failed and lost a hand in his weapon. And now he's failed and lost a hand in his weapon and is told that's his daddy. And that this evil is legacy that now potentially lives in him. I mean, jeez. He is the father that Luke never knew. And Luke has to reconcile that. Like in a matter of moments, he's beaten and then stomped. The deadliest thing Vader ever did to me was, it wasn't swinging the saber, right? It was, I'm going to tell you the truth at the worst possible moment. That's my number 1. What's yours? What else did I have here? Best intimidation scene. Think about that. So Vader, one of his awesome characteristics is his level of intimidation. So there was the mythos that follows him, right? His reputation preceded him. What's more intimidating? The scene in Empire Strikes Back. I have to go with two Empire Strikes Back scenes. The first, I'm going to say the dinner scene. That's some intimidating shit, man. Walking in and you think you're going to have a meal with your buddy Lando, um, and Vader just blocks. Vader blocks your blaster bolts with his hand. Give me a break. And then yanks your blaster from you with his other hand. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? That's intimidation. The other one is in that same movie with Lando Calrissian, where Lando gets a little, hey, you said that was never part of the deal. And it's part of the deal now. Pray I don't whatever. Alter it further. Point is, that moment, that's one of those, man, for me. Intimidation. Because Lando, big and bad, I'm Lando Calrissian. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think honorable mention, we have to go with Admiral Monty getting choked out. That was fun. That was intimidating. And especially in 77, no one had ever seen anything like that. It was amazing. That. Awesome. That dinner. Man, that was something. There's so many things about that scene. I would have loved to have been in the writer's room for that. Kasdan and George Lucas. So we talked about Vader and tragedy. What would you say is the most tragic moment that Vader experienced? Sit on that for a second. What's the most tragic moment Vader experienced? Some may say finding his mother. Others may say when he did kill all of the Sand People. Others may say when he realized Padme was dead. What is Vader's most tragic moment? Dr. Dana's going to say watching Luke get electrocuted in Return of the Jedi. That was the most tragic moment in his life. Stick with me. A very tragic moment, a moment of confusion, assisted in Anakin's fall to the dark side. One may agree. This is the only way to save Padme from her dying, which I'm dreaming about. Oh no, I just reacted instead of thought shit through, and now Mace Windu is out the window. I have no choice, really, at this point. What am I going to do? Tragic. If you've ever had a child that you've seen suffer, there is nothing more tragic than that. From my perspective. So for me, Vader watching Luke get tortured by Palps in Return of the Jedi, the mask he's wearing can't hide the pain he's feeling in that moment. The body language gives him away. A father's love finally, which is the one thing that Palpy didn't count on, father's love overruled the Sith. It's in that moment that Anakin returns, before the helmet even comes off. And the tragedy of Vader is that monster is real. but so is the man that's trapped behind it. Yeah, I know. Got just a couple more little things. What about best animated version of Vader? Hmm. Best animated version of Vader. We've had several animated versions of Vader. Um, I'm gonna say Ahsoka, Vader versus Ahsoka and Rebels. I like that Vader. It's a little more attuned to the concept art for Vader by Ralph McQuarrie. Um, I like that a lot. I like that Vader a lot. The cracked mask was just brilliant, and hearing Anakin's voice through the modulator, um, Ahsoka refusing to leave him, and him refusing to come back. Like that's one of the only scenes for me that made Vader feel terrifying and heartbreaking literally at the same time. That was a tough one. Um Best animated Vader for me, Rebels, Ahsoka fight specifically. Now we have a modern Vader. What's modern Vader? Well, we have modern Vader in Rogue One. We have that's modern Vader. Modern Vader in Obi-Wan. We have modern Vader. Wait, are those the only two shows? Maybe. I'm going to go with modern Vader and Obi-Wan because Anakin's gone. I am what remains. That that part, it I get Cam where he's coming from, where he's saying it's a little cringy, um, the dialogue, but it is sick, man, for me. Like it just makes it real who's behind the mask. Right? Like the the man we saw behind the mask in the OG was this older dude, Sebastian Shaw, who played Vader. Um, and it having Hayden Christian, it's different, man. It's not bad. It's just not the same. So when we did Obi-Wan and we saw the cracked mask and we hear the voice and we see Anakin's burnt body behind it and we know it's Anakin Hayden, um, it kind of tied things together for me. That makes sense? Tied things together and gave me some closure that I needed in making the connection between prequel Annie and the Vader I grew up with. And I thought they tied that up well for me. So, kind of the final talking point here is we kind of break down Vader in a way a little different tonight. Um and we saying why is he daddy? Well, he's daddy for a reason. To me, he's daddy for four reasons that we talked about. It's his presence. He dominates the scenes without having to be over explained, right? He shows restraint. Some of the best Vader moments are when, when does he hold back? Oh my gosh. In the scene, the dinner scene that we've talked about 18 times tonight, after blocking and getting he's like, please, we insist that you join us. Crap, I can't remember what the quote is. But he's cool, calm, He could have just been like force throw, whatever. No, have a meal, sit down. Head games, man. Consequence. When Vader arrives, like the shit's about to go down. Like that's how when you see Vader, or in most cases you hear his breathing apparatus. That's it. Something changes. The tone, there's a chill in the air. Something changes. And then lastly, tragedy. He's not just evil, he's the cost of fear and failure and control. Vader works because he's not just dark side. He's the receipt, as I said earlier, for all the Jedi and the Republic's failures. So I believe I have the master list, the ranking master list of all, for me, Vader's best moments, period. Okay, here we go. Number 1, Empire Strikes Back, Father reveal. That's number 1. Maybe I should work backwards. I'll work backwards. So pretend like you didn't hear that. Here we go. All right, ranking the whole, like each thing, and we've talked about all. No, we haven't talked about all these. We just didn't get to them all. So number 10, Vader in the Bacta tank. Why? Ooh, vulnerability. There's no such thing as an all-powerful evil thing. Like everyone's got their kryptonite in some way, somehow. Everybody, even real world. You've seen The Boys. Vader in the Bacta tank. Number 9, Vader choking Admiral Mahdi. Vader choking the other one. I think I messed up the names. Who's the one? Admiral Ozzel. When he's choking Admiral Ozzel, like he just flat out just chokes people that are insolent. Like, I love it. Vader versus Reva. I don't know, man. I felt like, I know I ranked that about a rug, but it was pretty intimidating just for the fact that like Reva was trying. Vader didn't really seem to try. The dinner table, Cloud City, number 7, and number 6, the broken mask with Obi-Wan, for the reason of it helped tie everything together for me to see Anakin behind the mask. The Anakin that I knew with, or the new Anakin I knew with the old Vader I knew. Return of the Jedi, the ultimate sacrifice. That is, wow, best Vader moment for sure. Number 4, Rebels, Vader versus Ahsoka. That scene again with the mask. I loved that it showed us who. It shows us why later on I think Ahsoka's the way she is. Quite frankly, where Ahsoka says, "I'm not leaving without you," and then he's like, basically, "F you. I am who I am now, and you're not going to stop that." That was hard. That was hard to see play out, and then of course the whole world between worlds and whatever. What else? Number 3, New Hope, his very first entrance. Number 3, that scene again. The violence happens before he even steps on the scene, and once he steps on the scene, there's this understood sense of, even though the violence happened, there's potential powder keg for more violence in a much more dramatic way. Number 2, Rogue One hallway scene. What made this was the saber. Very similar. Smoke, the fighting, the violence has already been done, right? The fighting is about to start. That's right, because this is with the, sorry, Rogue One. He unites the saber, and now you've got him. Nothing wasted, right? Every swing of the saber, every move of his arm, everything is intentional. and it's minimized his effort to do maximum damage. Nothing like that hallway scene. And number one, Empire Strikes Back, the father reveal at his lowest point, losing an arm, losing the battle, thinking the rebellion is pretty much probably over and he's a shit Jedi. Luke gets told, oh, by the way, this evil being in front of you is your daddy. You're not who you think you are. You need to question everything and just die or join me. Those are your choices. Yeah. Vader. It's my dog. Whenever I talk and don't have co-hosts, I don't get through the whiskey. Wow, what a show. Vader is not iconic because he is powerful. Vader is iconic because every single time he appears, everything gets heavier in the room. Darth Vader, man. That is the short show for tonight because, yeah, I've said all I can. There's probably more we could talk about Darth Vader, but we're good. What do we got tomorrow at 12 o'clock Central? Join me on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter for Communo What podcast. Communo What Wednesdays. We'll talk about communication. We're wrapping up we did control last week, and this week we're doing all 5, just talking about communication, all 5 of the Communo What framework from intent to control, how to be a better communicator. And I know Zane's got a ton of shows coming up. Go to I didn't even do any of these scrollies tonight, folks. Sorry about that. Let me put Zane's ticker up. Boom. Zane Martin Music. Zane _Martin _music. He's playing, I think, now in 4 bands, playing drums for like 4 bands around Central East Texas area. Go check him out. Thomas Babiak, he plays for, I don't know, Brian Wilson. No, not Brian Wilson. I know tons of people. John Brewer. I don't know, folks. Also, go check out our buddies over at Feast of Fandoms. And also go check out Outcast Cantina, Spooky Jawa. Who else? Oh, House of Vizsla. Don't forget House of Vizsla. And Colisee, Texas. Badass prog metal band out of the Houston area. So, yes, I will. This is Cam's view, DFlock USA. That's also my view. I'm not afraid to say it. Listen, folks, this was fun. We will catch you all next week. Always remember that peace is a lie and there's only passion. Good night.